Welcome to Now That's Smokin'. I'm Kel Phelps, your host, bringing over 30 years of barbecue passion as publisher of Barbecue News Magazine and also managing partner now of the National Barbecue and Grilling Association. From my younger days on the competition circuit to helping lead the barbecue and grilling industry, I'm here to share some of the untold stories, spark plenty of laughs, and maybe even share a few tips or tricks you may not even know yet from some of the biggest names in the barbecue world. Join me as we take a deep dive into barbecue's heart and soul with the Now That's Smokin' interview series. Hey guys, welcome. Now That's Smokin' episode 6. And man, we have got a treat today. Good friend, Erica Roby. You guys probably know her best from barbecue Brawl champion. Erica's also, golly, man, you name it, she's on around. She's on the Today Show, does several segments there. But we love her when she gets a microphone in her hand and helps us out at Smoke Slam and does a lot of interviews and stuff with demos and goes on. But man, always the life of a party. So, but Erica, welcome. Glad to have you, girl.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to see you again. Once a year is too few times for us to hang out and be wild.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But yeah, it's hard to believe, now with the internet and all those things, social media, you kind of keep up. So you know where people's at, what they're doing. And it don't seem like it, because I mean, we chat all the time, we text and all that stuff. So we kind of know what
I will text you to death. Like I will text you novels.
Hey, listen, I'll turn that thing off if I got to go to sleep. But you know what? Most of the time I'm up doing something anyway.
True.
So it's a welcome break, no doubt. Hey, so now we know who Erica Roby is a little bit, but we're going to get to know her a lot better here in just a few minutes. So we're going to take a break, and we'll get back and get started on this thing.
From serious backyarders to caterers, food trucks, and restaurants, cookersandgrills.com builds custom barbecue pits to fit your needs. We're talking top-of-the-line smokers, grills, and mobile units. Custom built to your specs, finished right, and ready to feed any crowd. Cookersandgrills.com, where great barbecue begins.
All right, guys, here we are back from the break. Episode 6. Man, flying by already, and honored to have our friend Erica Roby with us. And man, look at that smile. Can you not imagine? She's always like this. I've never seen her have a bad day.
I think my teeth are too big for my mouth.
And in the barbecue world, I mean, that is, it's all about having fun, right? That was what I was taught as a kid. Rule number 1 was to have fun. And so that's what it's all about. So Erica, tell us a little bit about Erica Roby.
I mean, it's been a wild ride. You've been there for a lot of it. Just, I got into barbecue late in the game. I was 34, I think, when I picked up my first set of tongs for real as like the one who was really doing anything. But, my family, they're from Louisiana, and we've always barbecued. We've always cooked, things like that. And I just kind of thought it was like the guys' game is where, the guys hung out. And I've always wanted to be over there because it looked like a lot of fun. But, I always felt like a visitor. So to all of a sudden grow up and then be like, I'm going to buy my own pit. I'm going to barbecue. I'm doing this. This is going to be an Erica production. It was otherworldly. And it really did just open up the heavens to me and just brought so many blessings to my life when I just made that one decision to buy my first grill and go for it.
Awesome. So you were born and raised in Louisiana?
No, so my family, they were Air Force, so we moved around a lot. And I actually ended up in Ohio, so Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. That's where my dad got stationed. That's where my mom was working. So I ended up spending a lot of my time there until high school. Then I went away to school in Hawaii. And then after that, I came back to Ohio and then down to Florida and now Texas. So I've been everywhere, California. I married a Navy man, so went, California with him. And we were supposed to go to France, and that's kind of funny. We ended up ultimately not going to France, and I came back to Ohio, and that's when all of the barbecue stuff really just like took off. So I always wonder what would have happened had we actually went to France. Like, would Blue Smoke Blaire even be a thing?
God works in mysterious ways, doesn't he?
He does.
But I know this. I mean, seeing you fly around and travel and drive the RV and all that stuff, you are no stranger to the road for sure. And so I knew that somewhere in there was a traveling background, and anybody who's grew up as a military brat or whatever, I had several friends that did that. Man, they do not dread it. They will drop and go in a second. Yep, let's go. I'll be ready. So,
I mean, I drive to New Orleans from Houston like I'm going to the grocery store.
Well, I'm sure the people in Houston. I'm sure the people in Houston enjoy you going to the grocery store over in Louisiana because you bring back all the good stuff, right? So,
I mean, every gas station, I know the ones to hit up to find like the good stuff on the whole route all the way there. Stop in Avery Island, go to Tabasco. Like, I have a whole route. I could be a tour guide, a culinary tour guide for the Texas to Louisiana.
Oh my gosh. Hey, listen, some of the adventures you get into, some of the stuff you get invited to, I'm jealous anyway. So, let's talk about early beginnings. Let's talk about that you are a lawyer.
Yep. Don't tell it against me. No.
Listen, girl, I mean, that is work. That's hard work, just getting certified, becoming a lawyer.
Oh, I know. I cried a lot.
Oh my gosh. So, and you got to be smart. Not, there's
or
no
just
way.
Work really hard and be determined and persistence. Like, yes, it's a lot of brain power, but for me, if you are just like dogged determination, you could be anything. Because half the battle is showing up and not tucking your tail between your legs when something goes totally sideways on you and still showing up again the next day. There's something for that.
Well, that's me in the barbecue world. I mean, I tell people all the time, and I've said it here thousands of times, my dog would not eat my first brisket, and I learned from the best, but I just had a sorry cooker. It run at 550 degrees all the time. I didn't understand, wrapping it and all that stuff, and it really did. It was so bad. I tried to eat it, just a couple pieces. It wasn't do it. So I just threw it to the dog pen, and it stayed out there about 3 days. I was like, yeah, it's got to go to the trash now. So
don't feel bad. I did the same thing with like maybe my third or fourth pork butt. And so I threw it out into the woods behind my house, thinking that like, a coyote or something would eat it. That thing stayed out there in pristine condition. Nothing touched it.
I hear you. So while we're talking about mess ups and hiccups, what do you feel like while you were cooking, what is your worst hiccup or worst?
Oh gosh. Do you have 2 hours? No. So I think the first one, I didn't know fire management, and I knew I wanted to cook on an offset. I knew that I didn't want to cook on gas. So I bought this Yoder Cheyenne, and I just loaded up the firebox like I was doing a bonfire at the beach because I didn't know any better. And I lived in this really like small where every house touched. So every backyard touched, and like you could like hear your neighbors when they coughed. And I ended up like smoking out the entire neighborhood. And I felt so defeated. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'm never going to be able to cook. I don't know fire management, So it was like very, very devastating. Oh, there's my husband. I think you say, hey, Josh.
Hey, what's up, Brian?
That's my taste dummy. He's had to eat all my bad barbecue for years, and he's still there. So that's a testament right there. But yeah, so I blew up like barbecue grills. I couldn't manage my fire right. I would go on YouTube, I would go on Instagram, and I'd watch all these people. And it actually just made me sad because like nobody really broke down how to start a fire. It was just like a given that if you're in barbecue, of course, you know how to start a perfect fire and how to make sure that the temperature is right. And I couldn't find anybody to teach me that. So it was trial and error for me. And then the other thing was like just the basics, you know, I didn't know like what the grain was and what slicing against the grain meant. So I would, you know, spend all these hours, 12 hours, 14 hours cooking a brisket. And then I would ruin it because I didn't know how to slice it because nobody would just break down the simple things for me as a newbie in barbecue and explain to me what the grain meant and what cutting across it meant, you know? And so now I tell people, I'm like, the grain is the cars and cutting against it, your knife is the crosswalk. So you were just running across traffic with your knife. And that was like, I wish somebody would have just told me that, you know?
Oh
It's
my
just little
gosh.
things people take for granted that a lot of people, like when I started, we don't know the little things. Like I grew up doing ribs because, you know, we're from the South, like, but I didn't grow up with briskets. I didn't grow up eating ribeyes and things like that. It was ribs and chicken or any part of the pig, you know? So trying to get into beef and trying to up my game in barbecue, it was a really, really big struggle. But luckily, when I actually got into competition barbecue, everybody was so nice and they were willing to help me. And yeah, they probably were laughing behind my back. I'll never know because I was terrible. I think I called a Packer brisket a Packard, like the computer, because I didn't know. I didn't know. So I had so many people in competition barbecue just like sit down and help me. And I think that that was the turning point for me when I actually decided to stay in barbecue because I realized like all I had to do was ask and somebody would show me. And that's not something you get as a lawyer because it's very competitive. You know, it's me versus you. I keep my cards close to the vest. You keep your cards close to the vest. So to get into a competition barbecue, but then people are helping you, that was just mind blowing. And I think I got hooked at that moment. I was hooked.
It's easy, you know, when you see, you know, and sometimes I get in trouble because I'll call everybody, you know, baby girl or, you know, little girl, you know, whatever, sister or brother, you know, and,
Same.
you know, sometimes I get that, look like, you know, you don't know me. How, you know, how do you call me brother or, you know, you don't know me.
You got a grill, you're my brother.
You know, when I get that look, I got to say, hey, okay, let me step back. This is just, you know, this is how we roll in the barbecue world. This is, you know, we all brothers, sisters. And, but, you know, believe it or not, early days in the competition world, that wasn't the case, you know.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not, it was not that case in the, I
guess,
guess,
no idea.
Middle 80s. It started loosening up when people started doing cook schools. You had Ray Lampy started, and Myron started doing a cooking class, cook
I went
school.
To his.
And those guys taught a lot of people, and there's a lot more.
The one about, Harry Sue changed my life. His cooking school changed my life. It was the best. It was only one day, and that's what made it great. It wasn't like a 3-day or a 4-day. It was one day, and it changed my life. I still consult my handbook from him.
Yeah,
even now.
It's cool, man. When somebody becomes a mentor, you know, through life, there's nothing that beats a good mentor, you know.
Yeah.
My problem is I've had some really bad ones that took me down the wrong dirt road. So,
but it was fun.
Yeah. Not that I would change that for anything at all, but you know, I learned a lot of lessons. But those that mentors that really trying to help you, man, and they're all over the place now. And I learned different. You know, I tell people when I was in school, I could not read a book and then take a test on it and do worth a poop. That was not me. But if you showed me hands-on, like video, man, I have remodeled my house. I have took showers down and laid tile, you know, laid concrete, I mean, I saw somebody do that, and now I watch 2 or 3 times people do it to make sure I'm not getting
Bad
the wrong
intel.
information or going down that wrong
Bad
road again.
If I see you with
So
like some tofu, I'll know. I'll be like, he got bad intel. Get it off the grill.
just text me up, boy, get that away from here.
I'm on your Instagram live. Get off now.
Leave. Hey, pretty good. So, let's talk about the barbecue brawl, the first season. I mean, they were new at doing that, and that was
Sure. And I liked it though because the first season, you had Big Mo, you had, I think Amy Mills was on there. The judging panel was amazing, and that was like the first show before that kind of came back after, what was it that we all used to watch with Myron Mixon on there? Yeah,
Barbecue Pitmasters. Yeah,
Barbecue Pitmaster. So this was kind of like the first show that came back, and they were bringing in the legacy folks. So it really had you like stop and watch. And I remember I was at home blowing up my barbecue grill and my bonfires in the backyard, and I decided to watch the old barbecue pitmasters and see what they were like and what they were doing. And then all of a sudden, Food Network had Barbecue Brawl. So the first season came out. I dissected that thing. Kel, I watched it religiously. I would freeze frame so I could see what was in the pantry. When I realized that I was going to be going on there, I freeze framed like everything to look to see what was going on, what tools they had. I was so into it. And I remember seeing Susie and Leanne, the two women on there, and they were battling it out to the end. And, I held them in such high esteem, and I never thought that I would meet those people. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm working with Leanne Whippen now. And it's just like, wow, the people I was watching on TV, and I see Susie all the time. And I'm just like, and she's Hey Girl Hey. And I'm just like, wow, she's actually like an acquaintance of mine. I can text her, I could call her and, talk to her if I needed to. So it was so amazing to see them in their element, battling it out. And I was just watching them with bated breath because I knew I was next on that show, and I'd be the season right behind those two legends. So it was amazing, but it was terrifying. And then when season 2 came, which was my season, it was nothing like season 1. It was a completely different format. And, I was under the impression that it was going to be like competition barbecue, which is what I had been doing for the past year before the show. So, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to cook 4 meats. I'm going to do it well. And I'm going to go, I'm going to go for gold. I'm a competition pitmaster. This is going to be me. And then I remember walking into the hotel, and in the lobby was Rodney Scott. And all of a sudden, like, all my confidence just left my soul, my body, because I was like, oh my gosh, is he a competitor? Am I competing against Rodney Scott? Like, please, Lord, no, I'm not ready yet. Or is he a judge? Even worse, because he's gonna know everything that's wrong with my barbecue. So either way, this is a bad sign for me. But I was already down there, so it was too late. And I called my dad as soon as I saw Rodney Scott in the lobby, and I was like, hey Dad, I was like, I got good news and bad news. The good news is I'm going to be home really, really soon. So you're not going to have to watch my baby that long for me, because I had a newborn when that show was being filmed. So I had to have my mom and dad watch my son. My husband was in the Navy still. So I had to have my mom and dad watch my son so I could go down there and film that show. And they were like, how long is this going to be? And I was like, I don't know. It could be however long it takes. And they were just like, okay, girl. But so I called him. I told him that I was going to be home probably within a few days, if not hours. And so that was the good news. And I said, the bad news is I'm going to embarrass our family on national television. So my dad, he's a Louisiana boy. So he's sitting there scheming immediately. He's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. When you get on there, you just go by your middle name. So just go by Erica Blaire. Don't go by Roby. So nobody knows who you are and that you're related to me. And I was like, okay, Dad. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go by Erica Blaire. So if this all slides left, nobody's gonna know that I'm your daughter.
Mate. And I bet after that conversation, you was chill out. It didn't matter. You was all good to go, right?
Yeah, I was over. I didn't unpack for the first week and a half. I never unpacked my suitcase while I was filming that show. Because every night somebody was going home. So don't get
Wow.
comfortable. So I never unpacked. And then I remember cooking, seeing all the other competitors, and they were pitmasters who I had been following on social media. So I was very, very intimidated. But then that hopelessness turned into like, well, I'm just going to be me. There's nothing else I can do at this point. All I can do is be
That's it.
me.
Yeah.
All I can do is that. And so one of the things that I did notice is like, everybody was kind of cooking like Texas barbecue style. Like that was, we were filming in Texas. We were right outside of Austin. We were in Bee Cave, Texas when we filmed. And so I noticed like everybody was kind of really in that theme, and they were just kind of cooking like Texas barbecue and everything like that. And that wasn't my style of cooking. So I tried it, and I got, the floor wiped with me for a few of the competitions, and I like barely squeaked by. And I realized that I needed to cook from my New Orleans roots. I needed to cook from my Louisiana heritage, So I just started bringing in the Creole and the Cajun flavors and adding smoke to that. And I went from being in the bottom like every single week to all of a sudden winning. And that was just like the testament of like being true to yourself no matter what you do. Don't try to be other people because that spot's filled. Just be you. And whatever happens, like at least you're you. So it was a really good feeling to be able to still be new in barbecue, only about a year and a half in, probably at that point. And, had only done a handful of competitions and was getting the yellow scorecard of doom on every single category. I think I single-handedly emptied KCBS out of all of their yellow score sheets. Because I could have wallpapered my entire living room. I had so many after every competition. It was terrible. But I read those cards and I fixed what I needed to fix. So it was a blessing to have. But definitely I would walk around and wonder why none of the other teams had as many yellow sheets as I did, And it was I think it was Brent from Bee's Knees Barbecue at the time. He was the one that told me, he's like, sweetie, you don't want those. Those aren't good.
Right.
And I was like, oh,
Okay.
So, but I never quit. I didn't give up. And I think one of the things is just like, I noticed, and maybe it was just because I started in the Instagram barbecue community, but there's just a lot of egotism, a lot of narcissism. I mean, it is a craft. Barbecue is an art, especially when you're putting it up on social media. It's an art form. You are an artist, and barbecue is your category, your genre, and food is your medium. So I get that. But like, I never had, and I still don't have that ego, and I don't have that narcissism. Like, I never think that I'm the best cook in the room. I don't think that I'm better than anybody. And like, I literally just want to be around other people. And I want to do what I can do, the best that I can do. But like, I want to celebrate other people doing the same thing and be in that atmosphere. And I really think that went far for me, just, in barbecue in general, because, when you get to the point where you think that like nobody can tell you anything, or that you're too good to like, deal with somebody that maybe isn't as good as you are, but like, just remember at one point you were that person too. And the best thing that you can have in this community is a friend. And somebody that has a shared experience with you, like, oh my gosh, I called you about my chicken, and it was 9:00 at night, and you sat on the phone and you walked me through my chicken. And now I'm still cooking from what you told me that night on the phone. That's the kind of thing that you want in this community. So I've just never forgot that. And that's why I fight hard to keep that vibe here for everybody.
I hear you, man. Well, that's probably the biggest thing that's changed in the last 30 years. Now I'm telling my age, how long I've been doing this, but
hey, we were in the same school yearbook. I know how old you are.
Yeah.
And you know how old I am. So you better keep that real quiet.
Yeah, I hear you. But yeah, that camaraderie or friendship or whatever, mentorship, whatever you want to call it, those are the things that go way, way beyond winning competitions or whatever. But when you got somebody there who helped you out and get there, that makes it even sweeter, because then, you don't ever forget that. So,
yeah. I was just texting One of the guys that got me started, his name's Dave Dysart. He retired Navy now, but he was in the Navy. The first ever drum smoker I saw, the first ever brisket I ate was his. And it really just made me go psycho because I had never had a brisket before. And I was like, what is this? This is amazing. And I would like beg my husband to take me to his house whenever he was having a cookout because I wanted his brisket. I wanted to eat the brisket that Dave would prepare. And to this day, and maybe it's the nostalgia, it's still one of the best briskets I've ever had because that was Dave cooking that. And that was my first experience. And getting out on the competition circuit, my mentor, hit Bill Magerland. I don't know. You know Bill.
Yeah.
I think you know Bill. Yeah. So he was the one that came over at my first competition and was trimming chicken with me with a coal lantern in my tent, and just sitting there. And he's like, honey, let me help you. You're struggling a little too much right now. And then, Paul Boom, he's the one that taught me how to do a pork butt and taught me the muscles in a pork butt. And we did that in a competition in the middle of the night. He's like showing me, he's like, here's the seam, put your hand here, feel the seam. And I'm like, oh, that's the seam. This is amazing. All these people that to this day, like I'll do anything for because they didn't know me from Adam and they stopped what they were doing in the middle of a competition and sat with me. And I think that I'm where I am today is because of them. Yeah.
That's what it's all about. That's it. Hey, we ain't done yet, so just hang loose. We're going to take a break, pay a few bills, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to futureofq.com, the home of the next generation of barbecue and grilling legends. From young pitmasters to up-and-coming flavor creators, this is where passion meets smoke. Check out the free issues with videos, stories, competitions, and gear that fuel the fire for tomorrow's rising stars. Join the movement now and celebrate the future of Q. Visit futureofq.com today.
Hey, here we are, guys, back from the break. Special guest, Miss Erica Roby, hanging out with us today. Man, talk about a journey. That's if you hadn't heard the first part, if you join now, man, you got to go back and listen to the first part. And now you know why I follow this young lady all over the place, man. So just so cool, just an awesome young lady, and understands life at the same time. It's not about us. It's about what we do, how we do it. And in the end, that's what makes the difference. So let's talk about some of your favorite stuff. So if you are Tuesday night, you don't have a lot going on, and you guys are fixing to pig out, what pit are you cooking on, and what are you cooking?
All right. So nowadays, I have really fallen in love with Santa Maria style cooking. So I am definitely going either in an egg, or if I have access to a Santa Maria, I'm doing that. I'm using red oak, and I'm going to be cooking a New York, or I'm cooking a ribeye, and I am basting that baby in red wine vinegar and using Santa Maria seasoning and just going to town and making it luxurious. That's my thing. That's my thing that I've been doing probably every other night. So I probably need to change it up, but it's I'm laser focused on perfecting Santa Maria style cooking. I'm just obsessed.
Hey man, I tell you that live fire process, if you can cook it and eat it right then, it's hard. You cannot duplicate that process. I mean, the flavor profiles, you'll never duplicate it. And everybody does it a little. Yep, and everybody does it a little different. It doesn't hold very well. It's hard to hold that, for 30 minutes or an hour or whatever. But I love it, man, and I'm guilty because I don't take the time. I wish I had the time, but I would absolutely go and cook like that 3 or 4 times a week if I had the time to build a fire, make the coals, shovel them down over it, and cook right on. I would do the cowboy, girl. I'd throw them right on the. I cook with pecan wood. pecan, not pecan, pecan wood.
Pecan from Target.
Yeah.
That comes from the
pecan.
fancy Grove.
So I do the ribeye. I'll throw it right on the coals. I'll fan the dust off and the ashes off the coals. Throw that bad boy right on it, and I love it.
So I have a question for you because now this is just me being a nerd. Do you think that we could do caveman chicken, or why would that not work? I mean, I've had a piece fall in the coals by accident and I've eaten it, but
yeah, well, I think it probably would. I think
skinless, right?
You have to be, you'd have to probably like a boneless, skinless thigh would probably be the best thing to use. I think if you put it with skin, it probably burn up. I think it would catch because of the fat content burning off, catching fire. My first experience Santa Maria cooking was a pretty good sized grill, and I had about 40 leg quarters on and I had that thing loaded up, kind of like you were talking about your grill. I had the bed of that thing was probably, a foot deep in charcoal, and it was probably lump charcoal. And I lit that thing right in the middle and let it, man, I had that chicken all the way at the top, and it was
to
still
the ceiling.
Flame shooting up. It was, I actually pushed the cooker out from under the canopy to save the church building I was working under. But it wound up being pretty good, once I got a ladder to get up there and get it off. But it was, it was pretty different. But maybe we'll try that. Maybe we get to Memphis or sometime before then. Maybe we'll throw some chicken thighs on a live.
Yeah, and just see if we could. Maybe we make like a little pocket and we put it in there and surround it. I don't know. I definitely want to try it. Now I'm curious.
There we go.
It's on. It's happening. It's happening.
So we talked about your grill. So we talked about the grills and what you guys do at home. So you guys have horses, I watch. So tell us about the horse. I mean, I love, if I had my choice, I'd live in 100 acres and I'd have a little trail out to and I would love to have like chickens, cows, horses. But
that's right.
So that would be my goal. But
well, you need to come to Texas. You can have that. Come on. You can be my neighbor. We could be farm neighbors.
Farm neighbors. I grew up on a farm.
That's why you don't want it. You know what it's really about.
It's a lot different than
You just need an Instagram farm.
Yeah, there you go. That I probably do pretty good at that.
I've been trying to get an Instagram farm, but so far all I have is a real one.
A real one. So tell us about the horses, your animals. How now y'all, some of you guys, I think, some of your horses are rescue horses, right?
Yep. 4 of them are rescues. One of them is actually one of my good friend's horses. She has him over here right now. So we're just getting to like play with him. I think he's a former Mountie horse. He's from Canada and he's really cool. Yeah. His name is Cypress and he's huge. He's amazing. So he's kind of like bringing the class and dignity to the ranch. My bad horses, they're outlaws. If you ever follow me on Instagram, if you see any posts talking about the Alfalfa gang, that is my bad bunch of unruly horses that are always committing crimes around the farm and costing a lot of money, breaking fences and stuff, taking themselves on walks, just things like that. But ever since I was a kid and when I became a lawyer, in my office as a lawyer, I had a painting of a farm and I put it up and I said, I'm doing all of this right now, working 80 hours a week, being up in court, being stressed out, going home, working, all that. I'm doing that so one day I can have the peace of having a piece of land that I can call my own, having animals and having a farm. So I put that up there because I was working in Miami and, so it's very just like materialistic and glitzy and glam and, who's driving the nice car and all that. But that was never my vibe. I didn't grow up like that. I always kind of grew up a little rural. So
Right.
those weren't things that were like signs that I made it. To me, growing up, a sign that I made it was having a nice truck and having a barn full of animals. That's the
Right.
sign that I made. It's some nice cowboy boots. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm still trying to get some ostrich boots, but the warden will not allow those in the budget. So we're working on that. But that was the thing. Like, I always imagined having a farm where I could bring people out and just, fellowship. And I didn't know what that was going to look like. I was like 25. So I'm like, oh, we'll be playing like beer pong out on my farm. Well, pizza, it's going to be great. But, I always wanted those things. And so I was like, I want to do that. And then when I made the decision to like leave the law and to get into culinary, and that was huge. Like, everybody looked at me like I had 6 heads. Because they're like, are you ridiculous? You're going to go from being like this lawyer in Miami to you're working as a waitress right now at a cheese shop, and you're working overnight stocking wines at a liquor store. And what, like, you're going to culinary school? What's wrong with you? What's happening? But I knew that was my path, and I didn't care how not glamorous it looked. I knew that I was doing things that were going to give me street cred so that I could build bigger opportunities, which turned out to why, I'm able to sit here today, is because I was that girl working as the waitress, trying to learn the restaurant industry. I was stocking wines at a liquor store. I was doing those things because that's how you learn. I was already like in my 30s at this point. So there was no way that I was going to be able to like take my time. I had to just jump in and follow the song that was in my heart. That was hospitality, I guess, at that time, and food. Yeah. So doing that, it kind of just reminded me, I would still just be like I would look at like farm pictures. I would watch, at that point, I think we were kind of on Facebook was the big thing at that time. I think MySpace was done. YouTube was, coming up, but it wasn't like a lot of stuff on there. But so I was always looking at like farm inspirations to like keep me grounded and to let me remember why I was doing what I was doing. So after, winning on Food Network and then going out and competing and winning and just like really just making a name for myself in the barbecue community. Once my son was older, I was like, okay, now you've done that, but what was it for? Where's the farm? Where is that? Because that means you made it. So when we finally found this farm, I was just like, let's go, let's get it. We'll renovate whatever's wrong with it. We'll fix it. We could do it. Yeah. And I really just like put my heart into this farm, Hot Mess Ranch. That's what it's called. Keeping it real. I love it. Yeah. But I really wanted to put my heart and soul in this farm. And I wanted to be able to have a place that I could give back to the barbecue community and to encourage like the fellowship and that mentorship and that friendship that I received, which is the only reason I kept going in this community. Right. So that's why, we built the farm out so that people can come down here. We do host barbecue classes. We do dinners and things like that. And, I want to hopefully, if there's people that were like me back when I was like, I got to get out of this office. I have to quit with the suit and tie. I have to stop being a lawyer, but I'm scared, but I know I need to make the jump because my heart will not let me stay where I'm at. And I know it's going to be ugly, but I got to do it. I want them to be able to like come out to my farm and experience the other side and know that like they're making the right decision and that they have a network of people that will help them to make that decision on wherever they want to end up. And hopefully barbecue is the conduit for that. And so, every time we break bread at the table, every time, we pass a plate of ribs or slice some brisket, that's an act of fellowship and dreaming to hopefully encourage people to just keep going, and that barbecue can save you.
Absolutely.
It's a path.
Absolutely. So let's talk about this. I know you've had a couple of events out, I've seen there on the ranch or whatever. So, those are just buddies coming over to hang out, or you guys are doing competitions there?
Yes.
How does all that roll?
Yeah. So usually like the first 2 events that I've done here, one was for some sponsors. So I put out on Instagram, like, hey, if anybody's in the Houston area and they want to eat some barbecue and be filmed, you can come over to the ranch. All you got to do is eat and we're going to take care of you. So that was really cool because I had all my friends come over to cook. So all my fellow pitmaster friends came over and cooked. And then we had people that, aren't into like cooking barbecue, but like to eat it. So we had a bunch of people actually come and fill the farm up and just eat and enjoy. And then I actually did the barbecue class, and once again put that out on Instagram and said, I'm going to open it up for 30 spots. Whoever can come, and we're going to have barbecue classes. It's going to be fully hands-on. Nobody's going to lecture you, because like you, I do not learn from reading. I have to do. So, and I was worried that nobody was going to show up, because, I am kind of far out in the cut. And I mean, 30 spots wasn't enough. People were like, I can't believe there's no spots. When are you hosting another class? We want to get there. So I was just like, okay, there's a need for this. And it really went well. And I had tons of like my barbecue friends that are also, on television or and the competition circuit. I mean, I had Chicken Fried, I had Rashid, I had Chef Michelle Wallace from Top Chef. I had everybody come. I had Al Fragoni. So I had every different type of barbecue that could be made. I had an instructor there, and people were able to come for 3 days and just hang out and cook side by side with these legends and get to eat and hang out and talk and have fun. So now we are in a bigger ranch. We're getting more land, and we're building a pavilion out there, and we're going to make it like full on. Like, I'll admit the first one was a hot mess ranch production, because I was just trying. I didn't think anybody was going to come. So I didn't want to go too crazy. But now the next class, we have the pavilion. We actually will have like chef stations and everything. And we're doing full agritourism. So you'll get to hang out with all the animals. If you want to do the ag side, Blondie's Butcher, I'm talking with her. She's actually going to do like a whole animal butcher breakdown to like show people how you actually butcher and process different animals. So it's going to be really cool. So I cannot wait to actually open that up and get more people out to the ranch.
I hear you. Well, when you get ready to do a whole hog, let me know. I will come do a Georgia whole hog for you. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And bring all your seasonings.
Yeah.
I need all of
you would laugh if you saw all my seasoning. But anyway, I think we just got through with the Rubs of Honor. I think we had 500 something entries of those. That's amazing. The fire department loves me. When we get done with that event and I show up, I bring them in big totes. I say, there you go, guys. And I take one to each one of them. So,
that's actually really cool. I like that.
That's
a good
cool.
idea.
That is cool. So
that's a good idea. I like that. Give them to the fire station.
Hey, listen, they got to eat too. So we're all about it. And they may be the reason you keep eating at home one day. So
they cook great food.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, we're going to take a quick break, pay a few bills, and we will be right back with Miss Erica Roby.
Do you love barbecue? Join the National Barbecue and Grilling Association, host of Now That's Smokin' the Interview series. As the industry's heartbeat since 1991, we connect pitmasters and enthusiasts with needed resources, events, and community. Managed by Kel Phelps, your host of this series, membership unlocks insider tips and networking for any barbecue lover. Sign up at nbbqa.org and start fueling your passion today, because every grill deserves a champion running it. Now that's Smokin'.
Hey guys, we're back from the break here, and Erica Roby, man, learning all kind of cool things from this ex-lawyer, country girl, ranch owner, barbecue champion. Man, it just goes on and on. So with all that being said, so what's next? I mean, my gosh, I watch you on the Today Show a couple of times. We see you all over the place going to different events. So what's next? What you got? What you got cooking now?
Yeah, so I'm winding down the year this year. So I'm about to head out to the World Food Championships and be their host, one of their celebrity hosts for that, which is always a great time. And then from there, I'm going to head out to New York, and I'm going to do a rooftop cooking demo with Pit Boss. So that's going to be really cool. It's at this
I
loft.
hear
It's amazing. It's beautiful. And then going to the open fire meetup down in Hondo, Alfragonis. So I'm
there
going to
you
be
go.
emceeing down there with David Shade. And I don't know why they're allowing both of us on the stage together. It's going to be wild. I cannot wait.
That might even get illegal. I
Yeah,
don't
I
even
was
know,
like,
but
we are an HR nightmare together. I don't know why.
I will
So
say this: it will be a lot of fun, if nothing else. A lot of fun, no doubt.
I can't wait. And then after that, as soon as December hits, just going full time to transition to being on the ranch and hosting these classes and doing agritourism and trying to do that full time and really just like bring the best of the best out here and connecting them with people that want to learn. And I know that there's a ton of barbecue schools out there because I have gone to almost all of them in my journey,
Yeah,
but I want
right.
to do one of the super, super basics, like here are the knives. This is how
Yeah,
you use this knife. We are going to spend, 4 hours setting fires and learning to control fire temperatures and smokers and everything like that. Like the real basics. I want to do a class like that because if somebody had had that kind of class for me, I think it probably would have cut off like 6 months of errors that I made in the beginning. So I'm going
right.
to definitely do one of those to teach the basics of the basics and then go all the way up to the advanced, which what we do for the majority of the classes.
Well, I'll say this. Not only everybody's got to, go through that process of learning, but when you do it in that kind of environment where somebody's kind of holding your hand and showing you exactly what goes on, you think about, I know when some of the first barbecue classes I went to, how much money I saved by not screwing up at the next competition I went to, and I kind of, I grew up cooking in the competition world, but it was all Memphis in May, and I was playing ball. I had a lot of other things going on versus just straight cooking. Um, I washed the dishes a bunch. I would check, make sure all the beer bottles were empty, before the judges come around. Um, so I didn't learn that process of cooking till later on. But once I went to the classes and really watched and hands on did it, I was that
Hooked.
was my hook point.
Yeah.
Because then I was like, well, it ain't rocket science. Um,
Because it
so
feels sometimes like there's no way you'll be able to get into it. It feels like these guys and these women, they're just so good. They're so advanced. That clearly they have something that I don't. And, those thoughts go through everybody's head. And if they can just see the way and there's like a way to teach and, outreach to show that anybody can do this. And it's just, somebody needs to show you the way first. And it's
absolutely,
intimidating. I remember when I first started, people were like, "Oh, you have to get a mentor," and this was before I had one. And they were like, "Oh, you have to get a mentor. You have to talk to people." And like you said earlier, so I'm out on social media, like trying to find a mentor, and I'm getting a lot of bad ones that are, sending me down roads that I don't need to go down. But it wasn't until I got out on the circuit and started competing that I got my real mentors. But there's a lot of people that don't want to compete. That's not their dream for barbecue, but they still want to cook great
right,
barbecue. If we have classes where people can actually connect and work side by side with you instead of being talked at, then
right,
you build friendships with the instructor that you had and with the people to your left and your right that were in the struggle with you, learning with you, and then all of a sudden
yeah,
that becomes your community and your mentorship. And I think that can keep a lot of people in barbecue. I remember I think I was at some event, I think it was in Minnesota or something, but they were giving the stats on competition barbecue, like the age of the people, what's, like the common profile. And there was this huge age gap of people that are in competition barbecue now and then who's coming up in the pipeline. And there was like this huge gap. And that's kind of scary because part of barbecue is competition barbecue and you don't want that to go away. And we already
Right.
have so many pressures about the expense of competition barbecue that keeps a lot of people out. But when you
Yep.
have young people or middle-aged people that won't even try it because maybe they don't feel confident in the basic skills of barbecue, let alone
Yeah.
to try their hand at a competition, that's a real fear, because that's how industries die out.
Yep.
So I think it's really important that we find that middle group of people and we really reach out to them and like welcome them into the fold, and take away all these misconceptions about how tough it is to do barbecue and stuff like that, and let them know,
Oh
like,
yeah.
we're here to have fun and we're here to cook some good food. And
That's
that's it.
always been rule number one. Always been rule number one. And two, so you're in the Houston area.
Hmm.
So when you get ready to start having those classes, where does somebody need to be looking for that?
So it's going to be on my
follow you?
website. It'll either be on ericablaire.com or it'll be on my Instagram, which I do everything. Blue Smoke Blaire is my Instagram, and I post everything there. I have a Facebook page, but it's just an Instagram flow through. So I check it. Well, you already know. I check it like once a year.
Yeah.
I start responding to messages that somebody sent me a year ago. But if you hit me up on Instagram or my website, ericablaire.com, I get back to you right away. So.
Cool. Well, I can't wait. And when you get that place ready, you holler at us, because we'll be coming to Houston at the livestock show. We go every year.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
We cook about 8 whole hogs every year right there with the Texas Social Club. So
that's good.
we'll see if we can get you to come hang out with us.
I'll be here this year. I'll actually be in town this year. So.
All right, cool. Well, while you're there, maybe I'll drop by and we can get a little story on the ranch and showcase.
I'll get you on one of these horses.
Woo, girl. If that's a wild bunch, listen, now I am no cowboy. I can tell you that.
I'll put you on the Mountie. He's the gentleman horse.
If he's a gentleman, I'll probably be a lot better.
Or we can rope some chickens. We can do chicken roping together. That's always fun.
Nah, that may have a little bit more my style right there. A little slowed down and just make the rope longer. Yeah.
We won't catch any, but we'll get drunk trying.
That sounds like my kind of time there, no doubt. Hey, listen, Erica, thank you so much, girl. Appreciate you sharing with us, and cannot tell you, I'm excited for you guys, what you guys got going on, what's happening, and I can't wait to see the next step of that, because I think you're right. That middle group, that age gap that is missing now,
we need to get them.
You light a fire under those guys, and that might save the whole deal there for a lot of folks.
I believe it. I believe it. I speak it in God's name. Let it happen.
I hear you. Well, listen, girl, I appreciate you, and like always, if we can help you in any way, shape, or form, you let us know. But we appreciate you jumping on with us today for sure.
Anytime. Love y'all. It's always a good time with you, Kel. Bye.
You got it. So there we are, guys. Erica Roby, man, what a story. What a personality. Just a super person. First time I met her, I knew right then that she's something different. And she's definitely a cool addition to the barbecue family, and we're honored to have her here today. And so with that, guys, we're going to get out of here, and till next time, you guys keep it smoking. Thanks for joining me, Kel Phelps, on this journey with Now That's Smokin' interview series. A big thank you to our amazing guests and to you for listening and checking us out. Share your thoughts or questions with hashtag #NowThatSmokin'. Subscribe now for more barbecue tales coming, and catch us next time for another deep dive into the heart and soul of everything barbecue and grilling. Until then, keep it smoking.